How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, All Cops Are Bastards, and Trans Rights supporting channel. If you don't like that, get the fuck out of here. This is Season 3, Episode 19 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Failed Experiments is the name of this episode, which makes me feel like Dr. Radcliffe had already done some experiments trying to make Inhumans and has failed. It doesn't, the failed in past tense makes me think it's not going to be something like we're trying to do the experiments in this episode and they fail. Seems like it's going to be a thing where he had already tried and failed. And now he'll be successful. And maybe this episode will actually see them create the first, modern Inhuman. The first non-Kree created Inhuman. Very, very interesting, though. Could be something completely different entirely, but that's what I'm guessing. This is the last episode before Civil War. I don't know how much of a tie-in to Civil War this is going to be. I assume just thematically, but still, Civil War, I assume, is going to be a civil war between powered individuals and non-powered individuals. And I will get more into that. I'm going to have a long talk at the beginning of Civil War before I even get into it about my predictions and everything. It's going to be a whole pre-discussion, so be prepared for that. After this episode, it will be a week until Civil War. So if you're on the Patreon, getting early access, Civil War will be released on September 18th, a Friday. And if you are on YouTube watching this, it will come out on the 21st, Monday. And of course, the full length will be available to all for free. However, I gotta make money somehow, so if you want to get the full length for this episode, check it out in the description. Go to the Patreon. It's only $4 a month for the full length for the shows. If you like, when Civil War comes out, if you like my reaction, consider getting the full length for the actual show reactions. That's why I do the full length free. Anyway, let's get into this episode. Nothing else to say. A lot of big reveals this episode, but I think the biggest reveal that we got was, when the Kree came here exactly. Because it seems like it's about 100,000 years ago as opposed to hundreds of thousands of years ago, which is what I thought. I really thought we were going for a sort of when humans became humans, when there was that missing link and we branched off from apes. Branching off from apes to the missing link, and then from the missing link to humans, I thought there was right around then, right at the dawn of humanity, was when the Kree had come here. But they actually came here quite a long time after humans had been around, all things considered. Which is actually a lot more interesting going into the transhumanism aspect of Inhumans and how Inhumans are basically how I thought they were basically just biological cyborgs, which is kind of the case, but kind of not really the case. So, what do we mean by that? And let's talk about what this means for Daisy and for Coulson real quick before we get into anything. So, to become an Inhuman, you just need Kree blood, like actual Kree blood, not Inhuman blood. And that's all it seems to be. It doesn't seem to be there's any other process. It is just Kree blood. And whatever, Radcliffe was trying to find a way to make it work without that, but it's not possible. You need the Kree blood, and his plan to turn all people into Inhumans was probably assuming that he only needed the Inhuman blood, or his own blood, or whatever. But, because, he would think that he had the original, but it's been long since, cycled through and all that. So, we do need actual Kree blood. I don't know if he still has the plan of turning all people into Inhumans, because if we need Kree blood, how are we supposed to do that? That seems kind of impossible. We would have to have about as many, not as many Kree as we have to have Inhumans, but, or people, humans, but, and it's was that alien alive back when Coulson went down and first saw it back in season 1? Was it alive then, or was it dead? I'm not really sure. It didn't seem alive, but they were still pumping stuff through it, so it might have been. Anyway, one Kree does seem to be able to have enough fluid for multiple Inhumans. It does seem like that was the case, because even when they only had one, they were still planning to turn all of the S.H.I.E.L.D. that was there Inhumans, so it's not like a 1-to-1, but still. And if you keep them alive, I suppose they'll just keep making more blood, but yeah, either way. And these Kree are the Reapers, specifically. They are only here to hunt. They don't seem to even have much intelligence. Well, I guess they literally were the ones who did the experiments. So I guess they have to have quite some intelligence for that. But they are just, they are just here to kill. That's their only reason. They seem to have just been sent down here to find humans, make them go in stasis, and kill them, and that's their only reason for living in life. So yeah, using these guys is just blood, just keeping them on standby for blood. But then getting other Kree to do this, much different. I assume it's not like all the Kree, decided to make Inhumans. It was the more government side of the Kree, so they're gonna have all the same problems that we got. But yeah, the whole seeing Alveus and seeing who he was originally, seeing his actual form, and that his actual form is not the sort of squid monster thing, the Hydra. His original form was, his original form after transformation. Like, we didn't really quite see him after transformation, to be fair, but it doesn't seem like, it just seems too different. But I would have liked to have seen him using his powers for the first time. That would have been really nice to see, so we could really get a concrete there. But it doesn't seem like post-transfer, like he went through Terrigenesis and afterwards he just always looked like this squid thing. I don't think that's the case, but at the same time, why would he not, use that form if he doesn't have that form? I mean, maybe it is because of like a social thing, like, he wanted to blend in more with the people around him and everything like that. Even though he was in an underground secret bunker and everything. So, like, how does that work? How does his bodies work? He might have the memories, but I guess he doesn't have the bodies. I'm thinking of it... I'm thinking of Lost Worlds, when that's not how this works at all. He doesn't, like, manifest the body. It's weird because he ate people and then manifested a new body. So it's like, could he manifest any of the bodies at that point, once he's consumed the flesh? Or is it just he's able to repair the body that he currently has? I guess that is just it. It's just that simple. I am so curious and yet always so terrified of alien abduction sort of stuff. Very, whether it be science fiction short stories or like video. Like, I love just watching, tons of sci-fi shorts on YouTube of alien abduction plots. Or, just reading actual alien abduction stories or anything like that. It always terrifies me so much because there is, like, my biggest fears in life is torture is up there at the very top, but even higher than that is alien abduction, because it is this otherworldly, you have no idea, even when it comes to torture, you have an idea of what they could do to you, and they are a human as well, but, there is a semblance of understanding as to what's going to happen to you, or what the maximum that could happen to you is, even if it's going to be unfathomable the pain, it's fathomable what's going to happen. Alien abduction, no. That is the ultimate nightmare. That is something that keeps me up at night constantly, and yet I still continue to seek more and more out. It's the curiosity of a cat, man. I can't stop. It's so... I love seeing all the interesting ways people come up with... this one, not that interesting, gotta say. This one, not that interesting. With the, the handcuff things, were just kind of like... whatever, no, like, there was nothing super alien about this. And in general, the MCU's aliens are, again, I don't know if the MCU is going to go for this or not, but I do know in the comics that everything, like, Earth is the center of or is the start of all life, essentially. That's why everything is sort of humanoid for the most part. And I'm operating sort of with that knowledge, assumingly the case for the show, considering it's all based off the comics. It kind of has to be for any of this shit to make sense for why the Kree are so humanoid, why any of the other aliens we've seen are all humanoid. The only way it makes sense is if humans are the base of all life, or Earth is rather, not humans but Earth, because there's also plenty of aliens that look like animals that we've seen on Earth. So really, just all life on Earth is the basis. So because of that, a lot of their technology is going to be very similar to ours. A lot of what they do is going to be very similar to what we do. Their weapons are going to be similar. Their societies are going to be similar. All this stuff's going to be so similar to ours that it's really not that alien. Like, this is definitely got to be the least alien abduction I have ever seen. It's kind of scary with the whole cutting your neck open and pumping the blood in, but it is definitely the least I have seen of all, including, like, real life alien abduction stories and all that. It's definitely the least interesting. But you know, I'm not expecting to get much out of it. Also, this episode was trying to do the whole like, and we had these other smaller Shield agents, which I don't know what the point of them talking was because we've never done that before. I don't know if they were trying to go for a joke sort of thing, where it's just like, you know, having these characters talk for just this episode here, so we can have someone who, you know, is there who hasn't seen Aliens to make jokes about that sort of thing. I don't know if they were guest stars. I don't know if they're going to be more important going forward. I don't know, but it felt so weird because we have never done this before. It's honestly a little bit strange how often they will say something to a background character, but that background character will not utter a single word. But yeah, if they're doing this, you know, just going forward, just giving the background low level Shield agents more agency to be able to say stuff, totally cool. Anytime we went to like the hub, that was the case, but with the Shield agents on the Zephyr or on the bus, they never ever talked. But yeah, with them there, they were trying to make this episode feel a little bit more crazy with the alien stuff, like aliens coming down, and it was, but it's not the same feeling you get like when the Chitauri first came or something. Because the Chitauri are like the only thing that was really alien in the MCU. That's like the only thing. Nowhere was pretty alien in Guardians of the Galaxy. Just the concept of nowhere. I wouldn't say them being on nowhere, but the concept of nowhere was at least alien. And even then, it's very like, you know, all this huge whale carcass sort of thing. It's very similar to stuff we've got going on. But yeah, so I hope we get a little bit more alien shit like the Chitauri, or like the Chitauri I still don't. The most alien things we've had is the Chitauri and Ultron, which is crazy to say that Ultron is one of the most alien things we have, but it's true. Ultron and the Chitauri are still one of the only two things that aren't like very easily explained. Like, I'm still very curious as to what was going on with the Chitauri giant bus thing that I called it or whatever. Like, what exactly was that? What exactly, you know, the way that they're like the virus worked with their helmets and everything. The Chitauri are just really weird and really alien and got a lot of unique shit going on with them. And Ultron as well. There's not really an explanation as to why he turned on. There's not really an explanation as to why half the shit that happened did. It's very high strangeness. It's very alien. Even when that's not really what we were supposed to be going for, that is kind of what we got. And it's weird that, like, Hive, Alveus, feels more alien than the Kree do at this point, which is crazy, because he's not alien. And, okay, we were talking about all this to talk about Coulson and Daisy, and we got so far away from it. I started talking about the alien abduction stuff. Coulson and Daisy are Inhumans, duh, Daisy is, but Daisy was not born an Inhuman, which is what I assumed this whole time. I assumed, you know, the whole, oh, we gave her the Kree blood because she's already Inhuman, so what of it? Ain't nothing gonna, you know, matter. But no, Coulson is an Inhuman. It's weird, though. So then, if we turned a human into an Inhuman, like, okay, let's take Alveus. When Alveus was turned into an Inhuman by the Kree Reapers, wouldn't he have immediately gone crazy like Coulson did? And everybody else who went through Project S.H.I.E.L.D? You know, isn't that what would have happened? Or was that specifically because of the combination of like taking out the memories? Because even after Coulson got his memories back, it was just having the memory of the memory thing has nothing really to do with the Kree blood turning you into an Inhuman. It's separate. Two separate things. So, ostensibly, every Inhuman who has been turned Inhuman and not, you know, was born an Inhuman, should have this, like, crazy, I want to go to the Kree, you know, built city thing underground. So why did Alveus not have that? Could somebody explain that to me, or is this just like a weird plot hole thing?
Actually, quick question.
Yes.
So when Coulson grabbed the, what was it, the Diviner?
Did he?
Like, when he lost his hands.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, like, would he have not gone through Terrigenesis?
That's a good point. I guess he was going through Terrigenesis. Like, yeah, I guess he... Oh, shit! Oh, man, that sucks! Yeah, that had to have been what was going on. He was actually going through Terrigenesis, and he cut off his hand because he thought he was going to die. Oh, man. I wonder if we are going to get a thing where Coulson does go through Terrigenesis later, and it has to be like, oh fuck, I cut off my hand for no goddamn reason. But now I got a shield in it. Hopefully I got a laser finger in it. But that would be really interesting to see. Like, oh damn it. But yeah, and also it is a fascinating thing to be like, yeah, Sky did not become an Inhuman through. Well, actually, we don't know. To be fair, we have no idea if Sky became an Inhuman through the blood or through Jiayang. We don't know, and I'm not sure if we ever will know because there's no real way to know. But actually, just touching the Diviner doesn't make you go through Terrigenesis. It's not. It's the crystal inside that does. Not the Diviner Rod in general. Just touching the Diviner Rod would just kill you if you're an Inhuman. It would just kill you if you're human, and that's it. So how does that work? How does this work? What? There has to be something else, and it's not just blood. But then what is it? Because that's all we saw them do, and that's all they're saying they need. Huh. I don't know. Man, this is confusing. I don't know if I want somebody to walk me through this in the comments, or if they are gonna, if they continue to explain it further, do not. But if I'm not seeing something here, if I'm conflating something, let me know. But yeah, this doesn't really make any sense to me. How does this work at all? Also, while we're still talking about Alveus, hopefully we get some flashbacks of the civilizations on Maveth. We have not come back to that at all yet, so I really hope we get to see more of that rather than just being told it. I know it would require so much CGI, it would require so much budget, but come on, man. For like the finale or something, just give me a little bit, give me something. I mean, I'm sure you could do, if you just don't do one big panned out shot, do your big budget panned out shot, and then you could do the in a house you don't really need to know where we are sort of vibe, but I still want to know what was going on there, like as civilizations and everything, or as like different cities and everything. So other stuff we haven't come back to yet. Blake probably going to be bombing Hive with his, or just bombing this town with his big bomb. If that is what it is. We got it for such a brief shot that I think it was a bomb, but they could definitely pull the rug out from me and be like, oh no, actually, if you look at it from this angle, it's something completely different. But yeah, I'm guessing, I don't know why he was doing all this. I don't know why he, it's not like he knew that any of this was going to happen. So, well, he was talking with Malik, so I guess actually Malik might have told him, like, yeah, we're going to create a sanctuary for Inhumans, and that didn't really follow through, but this happened now, so Blake's going to bomb them here. It's going to be weird if Blake is like our final villain for the season. That's kind of weird. The villains for the season have been very, like, all over the place as to what you want to call the big bad. Because for every other season, I feel like we've had a very clear one for the whole half of a season. But since episode 11 to now, we've gone through Malik to Hive to Blake. So, I mean, not to Blake, but we had all three of them playing a role. Blake was only there for one episode, but he did play a very big role in it. And it seems like he might be playing a big role after Hive, right? If he blows up Hive, or who knows. We'll see where that goes. It was very fascinating seeing Alveus talk about the, Kree making them as Inhuman soldiers. And this whole thing, we got this episode of the Inhumans, both through Daniel Radcliffe and through the Kree being failed experiments. And, getting this whole, something that, I don't remember the exact line, but, sometimes an accident can be, it can turn into a miracle. It can be the universe's greatest miracle. And, yeah, there is a lot of hypocrisy with Hive and Alveus, specifically, not Hive, but Alveus, with his, the keeping all his military around and everything. I don't know what the point of it is. They're not even doing anything. Like, they're just sort of patrolling the town for no reason. Maybe to keep out other people, but it's like, come on. Do you guys really think that you're not, like, you have so many Inhumans here, and then also on top of that, you are Alveus, you are Hive, you are like the most powerful person in the fucking world, and you think that you can't take on these people? Like, clearly you can, so, I don't know what, his deal is with all this military around. I don't know. Don't get it. But, it's also, it would be nice if he could actually fight more. I get it. It's like he has this sand power. It's the same thing with Daisy, where Daisy gets into these physical fights so much, and then the fight always ends with her going, oh, right, let me just use my power to just go boo, 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 win the fight. And Hive is the same way. He can get into a long fight with this Kree Reaper, and then at the end he just goes, all right, now I'll just But that's a little bit different, because Hive knew that he could win the whole time. He's just like, I'm just fucking with you, man. You're doing nothing to me. I'm just, I want to have this whole monologue before I kill you, is what Hive was doing. But Daisy, it is bothering me more and more that we have to have this shit with Daisy where it's like, let's just have her punch this guy a bunch instead of use her powers, because, it'd be different if it's depending on the person, but when it's like a Hydra soldier, use your fucking powers on them, I don't care. But, yeah, it would be nice to see Hive do more, though, and be more threatening. He's not that threatening. It's this whole, like, oh, you should be scared, you should be terrified, but it's like, I am. I would be in that situation, but as a viewer, I'm not that scared, because you're kind of just not doing much. But in general, I do love all the speeches that he was giving and what he was talking about. He is a fascinating character, Alveus is. The whole idea of, the Kree turning them into soldiers, but they refuse to be soldiers. And then you turn around, and then S.H.I.E.L.D. is just turning all the Inhumans into actual soldiers. It's a real sad day when fascism is beating out aliens and brainwashing techniques. It's a real sad day. But unsurprised at all. And Lincoln, I don't know if I have anything much to say about Lincoln this episode. He did what he thought was best. He took action. He was tired of being like, we can't do this because of blah, blah, blah. We can't do this because of blah, 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 blah. And he was like, fuck it. I'm going to inject myself with this shit. Going to find this cure. Didn't work. And he didn't even know the full extent to what he was talking about, like what he was going to have to go through. Really should have tried to have a hypothetical talk about what would have to happen if he went through with it. But a lot of bad decisions on his end there. A lot of bad decisions on his end. But at the same time, I respect him for trying to do something, for trying to take action in any way. It's better than nothing. With Daisy and Mac. Whew. Now, Mac is not like a racist like Bobby or Hunter is or anything like that. It's just the fact that he is so brainwashed by S.H.I.E.L.D. and it was so satisfying see Daisy get to just beat on him for that. And just in general, I do like, I knew Daisy wasn't going to kill him. I did think she was going to rip his heart out. I got very excited to see that. I don't think in retrospect, I want Mac to stick around on the show. I wouldn't have wanted that to happen, but it would have been really cool to see her rip out somebody's heart with her powers. Like, because it's not a rip out sort of thing. I guess she can vibrate something forward, can she? I'm not sure we've ever seen that, but she might. But either way, it would have been really cool to see her just rip out a person's heart with her powers in general. And in general, I don't know, I might have actually liked it if it was Mac, just because it would have been such an insanely big moment, and if Daisy was ever unbrainwashed, that would have been a huge thing that she would have had to have dealt with. The fact she had actually killed one of them. Which is why I really thought we were going to go with at least Mac being Inhuman, or somebody on the team being Inhuman, like maybe May being Inhuman. Like, turning one of them Inhuman would have been a huge thing for the show, and it would have been a huge, thing that Daisy would have to deal with after she is not brainwashed anymore. And it is weird calling it brainwashed, because it's not brainwashed, it is just amplifying the feelings they already have, but still, you know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, it was great seeing Daisy just get to beat the shit out of Mac and just really lay into how ridiculous S.H.I.E.L.D. is with their brainwashing of their soldiers and everything. I really, really, really enjoyed this episode. Absolutely loved it. A lot of fantastic character work for Alveus, and a lot of honestly making me start to be more interested in Daisy again. We'll see where they go with her, because she's probably going to be brainwashed and brought back into S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that at the end. So it's probably not going to be that interesting. So it's only interesting right now, but I'm enjoying it right now. Dr. Radcliffe seems very, very fun. Seems a cool dude to hang out with. But, and it does seem like he wants to change the world. It does seem like he wants to do good. But, considering everything that he did prior to this, considering all the cyborg stuff that he was doing only for rich people, and, I don't know. I want to believe that he's a good dude, but I still have my reserves on him. He is a guy that ultimately was making designer humans, essentially, when you really boil it down. So, I want to believe that he wants to make everyone in the world Inhumans for a good reason. And actually, last episode I was talking about how in the MCU we've had no characters that don't want to be an Inhuman besides Hunter and Bobby. But Actually, I was completely wrong. That was the other way around. Mac was the one who didn't want to be an Inhuman. Hunter and Bobby actually did try the pills, which actually does explain why they hate Inhumans so much. It's just like a very, it's a deep, deep jealousy they have. I mean, Hunter even admitted that, yes, it is jealousy in that episode. But yeah, Mac is seemingly the only character in the show who does not want to be an Inhuman. Like, none of the other characters have expressed that at all in any way. So I understand why they had Mac here, with Daisy being, the one having this sort of conversation back and forth. But and assumingly, this will work. If we get Daisy's blood, hopefully it will work. We're gotta make somebody an Inhuman, right? There's no way we're gonna go through the season without making a human and Inhuman. We just have to. They've been building it up so much, but who is it going to be? I don't know. Again, I don't know how it even works, because how is Coulson not an Inhuman? I don't know. I don't understand how this works at all. Yeah, so, again, bringing up the whole Tony hoarding his suit and the government hoarding, well, the whole, like, from their perspective, they don't really fully know what happened with the whole Captain America situation, so they don't know that it's not possible to do again. Aldeus doesn't. But still, the whole Tony situation, again, is something I've been talking about since Iron Man 1. And to be fair, even back then I was way less socialist than I am now, so it was more of a, like, I don't know, am I fine with this? Am I okay with Tony having a suit? It was something that I, went back and forth on, but definitely, now I am way more like, yeah, it's pretty fucked up that Tony's the only one who has the Iron Man suit, and it's pretty fucked up that he, is the only one who has, like, this repulsor technology and all that sort of stuff, where he'll put it for other people, but he doesn't, won't give it out to the public or anything like that. It's the exact same reasons that I dislike S.H.I.E.L.D. and that, but Tony is a very fascinating character, and a character that I love. Put him at the top of my list of favorite characters, whereas most of the characters in S.H.I.E.L.D. I would not, but I think that really is the difference between the writing in the movies and the writing in S.H.I.E.L.D. Specifically for the moralness of things. I think S.H.I.E.L.D. is a lot better writing than the movies on a lot of other things, on most things, but in terms of moralness, I think the movies definitely do a better job. Surprisingly. Very surprisingly. But I think most of the shows in the MCU do a way better job with morality. But S.H.I.E.L.D., no. Also, is Blowhard the name we're going to be sticking with for James? For like his superhero name. Probably not like sticking with it, but a reference to the comics rather. The line was just said with such like eyebrow wag vibes. It just felt like that's what we were going with for him. So Blowhard is, I mean, we've gotten so many, he's said so many names that I don't know, it could have been any of them, but Blowhard does seem like the most likely. And it's the only one that is not, fire-based. It's the only one that makes sense. Blowhard, it actually is an explosive-based thing. Makes sense. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about, the plot stuff this episode. But the fights this episode, the sound effects were on point. The camera work was on point to make the sort of just little shake they had for each punch it really made both Aldeus and the Reapers feel like they had so much weight behind their punch. Like the Reapers felt as powerful as they were trying to make them out to be, which they look just like big humans, right? Like they're big, but they're just big humans. And so you really need to do some tricks there to make them seem as powerful as we're saying they are. And they did a good job. Without just doing the I'll just have them pick up and throw somebody, which is the classic, look how powerful they are. But no, I think they did a much better job without relying on this stupid shit like that. Yeah, their makeup was on point. The makeup was very easy to do, but it looks good anyway. It looks ridiculous, but it looks good. The Kree are the classic comic aliens, it is just blue humans with some metal armor on them somewhere, whatever. They're so classic alien looking that it looks goofy and great at the same time. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say for this episode. It was a really, really good one. Very, very much so enjoyed it. I am absolutely loving all the characterization we're getting for Aldeus, and I hope we're continuing to get more as we go forward. I will see you guys for Civil War. I'm going to do a whole little pre-discussion thing before that, so look forward to that. It's going to be very short, but it's still. And yeah, as I said, it's coming out. If you're on Patreon, it's coming out next Friday. If you're on YouTube, it's coming out next Monday. So check that out. Okay, actually, hold up 1 second. So the Kree blood that Coulson was given was GH35 or GH325. So it was whatever. It wasn't exactly Kree blood. It was S.H.I.E.L.D. messing with it a bunch. It was S.H.I.E.L.D. doing some weird shit with it. Same with Daisy. So both of them, Daisy has to have been an Inhuman from birth, and but no, the whole point of this draining thing is because Daisy has the Kree blood in there. So no, I did this whole afterwards to try and justify this, and it still doesn't make sense. It makes less sense now. What is going on with this fucking blood? What is going on with this Tahiti? What is going on with the humans? What is going on?